Hi everybody! Welcome to kdmoonchild's world. I'm Katie and this is Saturday Solutions. This is a spiritual card reading. It gives us some solutions instead of discussing all of our issues and problems. Hear a lot about those day in and day out, but the fixes or possible fixes to some of those problems we don't really hear about. So that's what this card reading is about. Since it does tend to run a little bit long, I say let's get started. I just wanted to say that if you like what you see here today, please give me a thumbs up. Click that like button. And if you want to come back for more, subscribe and make sure that you hit the bell that says all so that you'll get notifications when I post something new. So we will get started. Let's begin by talking a little about the layout here. These are the 4 directions right here. Okay, west, east, north, south. Sunset, our present time. Sunrise, tomorrow. Our obstacles of a valley. A message from Gaia. And here, this is what is our mountain obstacle that we have to deal with? Is it something we have to climb, or is it something we can go through, around, or knock in? In the center, yes, this is for entertainment purposes only. We come here to have a good time, get inspired, not be sad and scared. In the middle here we have this is the map on how to get around. Okay, how do we get from our current situation into our promise of a new day? And that's the map on how to get there. And then the second card here that we will look at is, what is our awareness of the horizon line that we need to travel to get there? So here we've got all the directions: up, down, and across. Hey, sounds like a crossword puzzle. Anyway, when we finish all of these, we will learn we have a chakra that needs some work. That's what this card is. Over here is a message from Spirit. Usually this deck is all from the teachings of Rumi. And so these cards are usually pretty deep. That's what I'm trying to get out of my useless lips. And then finally, just a bit of a card that says, you know, whether we're on the right track, wrong track, whatever. This is a therapeutic pat on the back. So let's start, okay? Let's do this. This card right here is the sunset card. It's our current position. It also signifies yesterday and all of the cycles of the moon that have passed. So let's see what it has to tell us about what we need to know. Oh. I love this card. We get the circle. No matter what color your skin is, no matter what your origin of life is, what culture you come from, we're all connected. And we're trying to get back to that. But there seems to be this thing blocking us. And we seem to be going around and around in circles. I don't know about you, but that's exhausting. And as you can tell, I'll hold this up again. It's an 8 card. 8 card is the accomplishment card. It is the card of action and the card of mastery. Well, I can see that some of us are really afraid to take action. You're afraid you haven't accomplished enough to be taken seriously, maybe? When you couldn't be more mistaken. Who said that you had to be some television celebrity or spiritual leader behind a pulpit. To be a guide. You know, just in how you live your life, not in what you say or what you don't say. It's in your actions. Yeah, it's the action card. It's in your actions that you show the true character of who you are. Matter of fact, I have a tattoo on my foot that says Acta non verba, which is Latin for actions, not words. And that's to remind me that, yeah, words have a lot of power, but your actions speak the character and the caliber of the person. Even more than that, your lack of action says more. We forget that our lack of action really does scream who we truly are inside. And for a lot of us, that's afraid. Wow. You know, every single one of those hands, you know, being a different shade of each of the quote unquote human flesh tones. And that golden circle around those hands. You notice those aren't fists. Those are open hands. This card is telling us that we are part of an accepting circle. We are part of a community just by our birth. Our birthright is to be a part of that circle, this circle, and every other circle. Or to choose not to be in a circle at all. If you are going to learn the shamanic practices, you will need to get into a traditional practicing shamanic circle. Otherwise, you won't learn the ways. That's like expecting to know the teachings of any of the great masters, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, without knowing the accompanying texts that tell their story. You don't know their story. Who are you to tell me these things? That's a really nice sentiment, but yeah, who are you? Your authority is in your birthright. You were born right now to be a guide, a leader, some of us to be warriors. People try to say it's a generational thing. I don't believe it's a generational thing. I think it's a contract that you bring in with you when you are born. As to where you came from, whether you're an indigo child, whether you're a starseed child, whatever. We're all part of the same circle. That also tells you the different colors in the hands. The circle is the circle of life, of which we are all a part of. You can even look at the different colored hands as different species of animals. Okay? We're all a part of the same cycle. And that's what this in the center is telling us. It's a pivot point that this constantly spins and flows and moves on. What does that sound like? A chakra? Yeah, I could say that. So this card is saying, if you are a part of a circle and you don't understand what's going on, ask. With your hand out, reach out with an open hand. Get involved. Ask those that you think may need some assistance. Pride may be keeping people away. Keep that in mind. You know, human beings, that's one thing we're really good at, and that is being prideful. But that's okay. You know, what you do and what you go through and how you grow is something to be proud of. It takes a lot of work to be a human being on this planet, especially right now during these times. So don't beat yourself up if you have a hard time or you get tired or you don't feel like you're a part of the circle. It's okay to step out of that ring, that spinning ring, and breathe and rest and recover. Yeah, you're unlimited, but only as long as you care for you, as you plan for you, and as you nurture you. So let's see. By the way, this is the Mystical Shaman deck by Colette Baron Reid. All four of these are by Colette Baron Reid. This is The Shaman's Dream, also by Colette Baron Reed. Okie dokie, horn cactus. The promise of tomorrow is that no matter how prickly and difficult things may appear to be, we're driven by light. And that face, see the smile on that face? That face is fully aware of the light that is driving it. And that's why it smiles. That's why, you know, I can promise you, as someone who lives in a desert full of these things, the saguaro cactus, that big, giant cactus with the arms, in the moonlight, is fantastic. On a full moon, if you can get where the cactus blocks the actual moon itself, all the thorns glow like individual points of light, like someone has put Christmas lights on them. I mean, which we do here like crazy. Not everyone has a tree in their yard that they can decorate up with Christmas lights, so we do it with our cactus. We do it with our bushes. Hey, you know, we're resourceful here, and that's what this card's all about. Being resourceful. You know your resources, though. That's what I'm also hearing in this card. Because as someone who lives in the desert, I'm thriving in this desert. It's hot, and that's very uncomfortable. A person can die from that heat. But if you're resourceful enough, you know the sources that will prevent that. And the number one source to stay away from to prevent dying, dehydration, and losing water is the cactus. The old wives' tale of all you got to do if you want to survive in the desert is find a barrel cactus. They're full of water. That is a cartoon truth. I mean, that's how ridiculous that is. Let me tell you about the barrel cactus. First of all, barrel cactuses are like saguaros. They have really mean thorns. I'm talking thorns that'll go through a car tire. You step on one of the thorns and it'll go through your boot. Not just your tennis shoe, not just your shoe, but a work boot. Maybe not a steel sole. Yeah. Yeah. And inside those things, you can cut the top off, like they say, you know. Cut off the top and there's water inside them. No, there's not. There's a gelatinous goo inside them. Let me promise you, you eat that without cooking it or preparing it in any way. You just eat it right out of the cactus. Within 5 minutes, you're going to be looking for that place to relieve yourself. It'll give you the worst case of diarrhea, and it keeps going and going until you can dehydrate and die from eating or drinking, consuming the inside of a barrel cactus, inside, outside, any part of a barrel cactus. We eat the fruit off of cactus, but the actual cactus itself, I only know of one, really, and that's a type of prickly pear. It grows really big, and you just eat the brand new pads off of that. You don't eat the whole thing. Once they get mature, there's reasons why cactuses survive and all the animals don't chow down on them, don't eat them up. And it's not just because they have thorns. Yeah, that's a big deterrent, believe me. So even if you're feeling prickly in the days and weeks ahead, maybe even months ahead, yeah, months ahead, understand that what is happening is being driven by the light. And it is nothing you're worried about, because you know it's pushing you forward and teaching you how to be resourceful. So how do we get from this cycle of going around and around and around in circles, and that we keep repeating the same action, maybe, to being more resourceful, following the light's guidance, even if they are just pinpoints of light, trusting the guidance that goes with that. This is an 11 card. 11 breaks down to 1. It's this very spiritual card. It's appropriate to be in this position. This is our sunrise, our promise of a new beginning. And the number 1 is a new beginning. It is the potential, and it is the opportunity. You have to have the opportunity to be resourceful. You aren't just resourceful for nothing. And without all the means to be resourceful, you can't be resourceful. So you need that opportunity. That opportunity is provided by this light. It is propelled by this light, and it is guided through you, through every one of your cracks, points, where the light can come through. Your light, your truth, because who you are, your truth, the higher self, your inner self that is really in there, that is what mixes together over here to bring in the harmony and the balance that we all are looking for. So how do we get from, speaking of over here, being stuck in a circle, going around and around and around, to being resourceful and seeing opportunities and acting upon them? Kind of need a map, I would say. This guy over here, and flip this guy over. Here's the enchanted map deck right here. See what we got. Ooh, an angel number 44. Also our strength card. The number 44. Let me tell you about the number 44. I'm looking it up. Okay. For the number 44 and 444, your progress is paying off. Trust the progress. There are no coincidences. Your angels are encouraging you to continue down your path of growth. Even if you do not feel a change, you are making progress. Don't give up now. Your protection, you are divinely protected and surrounded by your angels during this time. They've got your back and will help bring peace to any unjust or unsolved issues in your life. That's the number 4. A lot of strength in those angels that have our back. Make you feel like you can carry the weight of the world. But you can't go very far right now. Because look at her. Part of her body is a stone. She's got the one leg free and both of her arms and hands are free. So she's transforming, but yet at the same time she's holding up. This is like Gaia holding up a sick planet with the tree of life. She's got the strength to do it. She's getting weary. So she's asking us to be more aware. You can't find the horizon line to follow if you can't see it. And if your mind is so filled with all these other extraneous things, catch these butterflies, hold up this world, even though it's a sick world, even though I'm the one who made it sick. While I transform, why am I so exhausted? I wonder. You do have the strength inside you to manage all that, to juggle all that, and to balance it beautifully. But when you're feeling overwhelmed and frantic, that strength wanes. Be aware of your strengths. When you're feeling overwhelmed, call upon that inner strength, not the outer one, not the one that says, well, that go well? Do you think that group of people liked me and what I had to say? Or like me, if you have a YouTube channel, do you think that show went well? Know that it's going to go exactly how it's supposed to, and relax in that. Because however it goes, it's going to be a lesson for someone. Whether it's you or not is yet to be seen. So that's our map. Our map is to use our tools and our strength and confidence in those tools to be resourceful. That's how we get out of this circle. It's an endless cycle. What is the awareness of the horizon line we need to be aware of? Wow. Speaking of balance, we need to be fair in our assumptions, our thinking, and our judgment. Been hearing a lot again about judgment. And that could be because justice is showing its face, at least in the United States. We want everything to be fair. Just like the justice on this card. It's a wise justice. And once again, this is an 11 card. My goodness. About new beginnings. We want those new beginnings to be fair. It's crucial that the horizon line we choose to see and to follow is that of being fair to one another, as well as being fair to ourselves. All of the creatures that live around us, as well as the very ground we walk on. Because if we don't do that, we will end up in a desolate area. Here she is balancing her life in the desert. And it's not even a desert that has the promise of mountains if you can find a way to get there. Because in the mountains is the oasis. And that actually even could be the sea behind her. But there are some that argue that the sea is the largest desert on the face of the earth. You can't drink that water, and you want a place to get cooked and steamed in the sun. It's on the ocean. So I guess you really could argue that. It is the largest desert. The difference being, you have evaporation in the ocean. You don't have much of that in the desert. It's just not there. Anyway, I digress. So to get out of this never-ending cycle that we've been repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating all through history, we have to have the strength to use our tools, our wisdom, and our confidence to break free of the confines that have been enforced upon us, to make sure that the path going forward is balanced and fair and equal for everyone and everything. We will achieve this fairness by being resourceful and understanding that what may seem like a darkness and a prickly thing to have to deal with could actually be just your internal light trying to get out and show you where you're in your own way. Get out of your way. Get out of your way. Wow. So since we're talking about Gaia and being fair, you know, we have to, well, here we are holding up this sick planet. That's the one we're living on, and that's our tree of life. So what is the message that we get from the shamanic healing deck? Oh my word. Look at this. Number 44. Gaia is telling us this is our home. No matter which of the directions you live in, how you turn in this labyrinth of life, and how many suns and moons is your existence. This planet is our only home. But I'm looking, number 44. Number 44. Here we go. That's stability, it's manifestation. And yeah, it's foundation. Don't you think of home as being your place of foundation? I sure as hell do. This planet is our only option. We don't take care of her. None of the rest of this stuff matters. Because we won't be here. Because she's telling me to tell you. She's promising you. Humans will be the first to go. We are so sensitive and have so many needs for survival that when times get hard, it's going to be a test of our strength. To not be in the ego of survival mode, to understand that only through the love of hearth and home can we find healing. That's how we can find our way back to each other in this country. Whether it takes a natural disaster or a terrorist event, this is our home. This is what matters to us. Home is the place where you feel safe, you feel guarded, and that is your sanctuary. So Gaia is saying, I am providing this wonderful home for you. It's beautiful. It provides more than you need to survive your small existence. And when you look at the scheme of things, you here in this moment, in this planet, it's pretty small when you are outside the galaxy looking at it. We take this life too seriously. But yet at the same time, what it is we need to reevaluate the things that we're serious about. Are we more serious about providing an easy life for our children? Or are we more focused on being there with our children, to guide our children as a part of providing for our kids? We get so caught up in making a good living so the kids can have a fun life and, go to Disneyland or whatever. We forget the time they're missing with you that you're spending somewhere else. So yeah, this is saying, she's also saying with this card to watch your priorities. And that's going to help bring in our new beginning. And that home can be an obstacle as well. Home is the place of comfort. And it's hard to get out of your comfort zone. But when you're being called to go outside, do so. God is telling you, I call you outside to help you be fair and balanced by grounding you. I cannot ground you as easily when you're inside because the floor you stand upon is a barrier. I have to find another way in. So if you come outside, take your shoes off. Don't stand on the sidewalk or in the parking lot. Go stand over there in the grass or in the dirt with your shoes and socks off. Just stand over there for 5 minutes with your eyes closed and be a part of it all. Don't be separate from it as an observer. Listen to it as though you are a part of it all. Okay, what's our mountain obstacle? What's the north, please? Wow. This has definitely been a card for this summer. Is this one that we got to go and surmount? This fall and winter, kind of looking like it. See the color of the trees? Wow, our obstacle for the months and weeks ahead. The mountain off in the distance, we just got to get to that mountain. Because apparently we're going to have a very chaotic winter. Weather-wise, politics-wise, and it's even bouncing off the home down here. But don't worry, home is the foundation. That's the base of the mountain. Wow. It's a spirit. If we're, I need a clarifier on this card. Oh, I've used these in a long time. Let's grab these. These are the lovely oracle cards. Can you tell us, please, are you trying to tell us that this winter is going to be a difficult one? That's a mountain of storms we're going to have to surpass, please? Tell us that. We need a clarifier on that. Is this winter, I'm going to ask the question this way. Is this fall and winter going to be a record breaker that we need to prepare for as far as supplies? Is this winter, fall and winter, going to be a period of struggle for enough supplies? Okay. Yep. This card is telling us not to worry. As long as we give what we can out of love to others who do not have it and are like the grasshopper and have not prepared, there will be enough for everyone. You know, it's kind of appropriate that Valentine's Day happens in the winter. Share your love, share your time, and share your supplies. This is a message on how to climb this mountain, and it's coming from the feminine, the divine feminine. Had great conversation on Wednesday. I was a guest on my friend the Wolf Girl Oracles channel. And we talked about the God and Goddess energies, divine masculine, divine feminine. So it's really fantastic that this card comes up, because we really basically deduced the answer to any and every question you want to ask in life. The answer is show and live unconditional love. Live your life unconditionally. That's the adventure. That's the challenge of it all. And this card is reminding us to laugh it off. Oops, I sure had a good time, but I tore my dress. Laugh it off. It's not that important. To make you so upset, so serious, and so overwhelmed. Because 10 years from now, you're going to remember this time fondly. Things are going to be so very different in this new beginning that, and it's going to happen to you whether you want it to or not. It's going to make you go, wow, how and when did that happen? Because it's happening already. It's been happening, and it's happening gradually. So apparently we have it chakra blocked. Because to climb that mountain, that storm spirit mountain, are we having a hard time showing unconditional love to everybody? Because instead of being focused on the fun we should be having, we're more focused on whether we tear our skirt or not. Instead of making sure that everybody around us has enough of the things they need to make it through the winter, are we being judgmental and shutting them out of the community? Because maybe they don't agree with how you think or look the way you want them to look. Maybe they're different. Oh, heavens. Maybe it's time you should think about looking and comparing people, looking for their similarities instead of our differences. I promise you, you want to heal. We're all the same. We all want the same. We all want stability. We all want love, and we all want abundance and more comfort. Not to struggle so hard as we learn on this planet. That is a school. So what chakra do we have that's blocked? This is the Kaleidodope Swatches of Chakra by Crystal Banner. Ooh. We're blocked in receiving universal energy. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. That's our crown chakra. That's where we receive our messages from the divine. And that chakra is not spinning like it should. Some of us, it's not spinning at all. Some of us, it's sputtering. The crown chakra is the center for enlightenment, spirituality. It's the center for your consciousness. It is your presence and your connection to the divine. When it's balanced, we're filled with gratitude and we're open to anything that's a possibility, and maybe it's completely unexplainable. You know, Bigfoot, aliens, whatever. Strong spiritual connections are easily made and kept because we have an understanding and we live our soul's truth. We don't talk it. We don't preach it. We show it just by how we enter the room. Your awareness of the higher source, because when your crown chakra is spinning in fully wide open balance, it is so connected to that source energy. It radiates down through you, out your feet, and out the palms of your hands, out your eyes. You actually are very capable of looking for and finding the awareness that you need for your answers within. Going through the crown chakra makes it easier to activate the third eye, where all you see, that's your area of truth and clarity. So when we are fully connected and our crown chakra is balanced and spinning open, wide open, we're living in the present moment. You know that feeling of, oh, whatever you're doing, whether it's, I don't know, laughing at a joke, being with someone you really love, someone you care about, someone whose company means everything to you, and understanding that that moment, you are the richest person walking the earth. Because you got to share that smile and that laugh with this person you love so much. But ours is out of balance. So we're stuck in the past, rehashing it over and over and over. The divisions in the cycles that just keep repeating themselves. And it's purely because of ignorance. Totally because of ignorance. It is about the fear of the unknown, which the biggest unknown to humans is death. And we make that all up in our head. We hear that from leaders who tell us that if we don't do things a certain way, we will be punished spiritually. I'm sorry. We punish each other. Spirit doesn't punish us. The source doesn't punish us. Humans punish each other. So, because you're hearing this from sources that you think are good to direct you, you're kind of directionless. And you're just basically skeptical. I know, I have become where I used to be a die-hard Democrat until 2016. And I saw how that election went. Neither side did what the people wanted. Neither side. So I switched. I dropped being a Democrat, a registered Democrat. I'm an independent. Now I get bombarded with stuff from the right, the far right, because they think if you're independent, you're on that side. Independent means nothing more than I choose who I choose. It has nothing to do with you or voting along a party line. So, because things went the way they did in 2016, and I've been watching the Democratic Party and the Republican Party since, been pretty disappointed. So I'm glad that I changed that, but it has made me overly skeptical of government. It's good to be skeptical of government, because when you're not skeptical, that's when corruption flourishes. But as a part of being skeptic, you also have to be fair and bring in justice to bring it back in balance again. And if you cannot see it, you're overly skeptical, you're directionless, you can't bring that in. You can't even bring that in for yourself, because you can't connect to your true self because you're so busy looking for the answers on the outside. And the number one thing, what did I say over all the way through these cards? Get out of your own way. You don't need to be so protective of hearth and home that you're in your own way and you can't progress and make life better for those of you who are counting on you. So how do we cure this? There's some crystals here that are really easy for you to get a hold of. One is clear quartz. I'm not going to show you an example of that. You know what clear, blah, blah, blah. I've got an example here somewhere. It's here, buried. Anyway, clear quartz. Selenite. Auralite number 23. And rhodonite. Now the 369 affirmations are: I am open to divine wisdom. I live in the present moment. I am one with the universe. I accept divine guidance in my journey. I cherish my spirit. I want to add one more. I trust the path. Now I want you to say those 369, Nikola Tesla's 369. You repeat it 3 times in the morning, 6 times midday, 9 times before you retire at night. I want you to say those. So if you need to pause this video to write those down, feel free. So that's our chakra message. Wowie, wowie. I kind of been feeling like my connection with spirit has been spotty and spurty. And I find that to keep the connection strong, I'm finding myself sleeping and being in dream time more, having a strong desire for being in dream time more. And if that's the case, hang out in dream time. I know, people have to work and have to have a life. Me, my whole life is what you see here. My whole life is cards, readings to help you, and art and beauty. So this is my reason for being here. Well, Spirit, I know you have a powerful message for us, Rumi, up here in this corner. What is that message, please? Ooh. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at those people looking off into the light. Let me show you. I'm going to read to you out of the book that goes with this deck, because there's a lot that goes with these cards, and I don't want to miss a thing for you. See these people? There's people right there. And there's, I don't know if that's an airplane or something, but something is flying out of that portal towards the people. It's hitting these people, and these people are just standing and no one is moving. These people down here, these critters back here in the dark, they're kind of looking away. Now the card itself says, let love transform. Card back down and let's hear what the book has to say about this card. It always starts with a poem because Rumi was a poet. The poem says, the spring of love arises to transform the dust into a garden. The call is heard from the heavens to bid the wings of the soul to fly. The sea beckons filled with perch. The dry land receives the water of life. The stone becomes a ruby, and the body becomes all soul. This is portal season, and we're getting ready to enter eclipse season, or we have entered into eclipse season. So astrologically right now it is super, super powerful, and there's not anything we can do to change that or to avoid that. All we can do is strap yourself down to your seat and see where it takes us. I'm not even going to say write it out, because you may not want to write it out. You may want to dive in and be very active in it, and not just be a observer and watch. This says, love is my medicine, intelligent medicine. It takes death and makes it a passageway into greater life. What genius is this? A genius that will render anything and everything as a pathway to life. I found a bench upon which we may be seated. No, not a bench, a love seat. It's carved of precious ruby. It sits under the gentle shade of an ancient tree that thrives in love's garden. Come sit with me, beloved, as we let the whisper of the great beloved penetrate our hollowed ears, carried upon the sweet afternoon's breeze. As the sun begins to set, the colors become vibrant. Even if we are deaf to the beloved's tender whispers, we shall not be blind. We shall be captured by the vivid display of the beloved's artistry and be transported into peace. Let the beauty of your surroundings, your home, nature. You might live in the city. You're still surrounded by nature. Let it call to you. Let it talk to you, and understand and see its beauty. This card mainly is telling us to let it be. Detach yourself from your sense of timing, because our sense of timing means nothing in the greater scheme of the universe. Our sense of timing is linear, and it's a fallacy. Technically doesn't exist. So our time-space continuum that we base all of our beliefs and all of our galactic and cosmic beliefs on has a basic flaw from the start. So don't let any of that be limiting to you. The harvest will be at the best time, when the ripeness is just right. You want your life to be so utterly juicy and sweet. You shall know with certainty that this was the best way. Not a moment sooner would have been more perfect, nor a moment later. All things happen in divine timing. No matter how much you want it to be otherwise, you can't push it and you can't change it. It's going to happen when it's supposed to, and not one split second before. And that's why those people are watching that portal opening. Ideas, new beings, and new entities and gifts are coming through that portal. The times we are coming into are a time of great, great change. And that's why we're going to look back on all of this and remember it fondly. That we did it. We made it. And it's a better world. Now, for the last message today. Wow, this has gone over an hour. I can't believe it. For our last message today is from the Therapets. It's our little attaboy card. It's the Phoenix. I don't know, you can't quite see it very clearly. It's the Phoenix. You will rise above the ashes. You will find a way to become whole once more, once again. It's going to be a long winter after a long, hot summer. Oh, be ready, you guys. Be kind to one another, please. Be fair. Think about how you come across when you speak. But most of all, show unconditional love, and you, through your actions, try maybe some little, I don't know, some random gift to a stranger. If you want to know how to do that and how it would make you feel, there's umpteen shorts and videos that you can find on social media where people are giving homeless people and people who are struggling cash, and it changes their lives. Instead of looking at them and saying, look at you, all you got to do is get a job. Hard to do that when you don't have an address form to send your check to. Don't worry about it, because you're going to rise above the ashes. No matter what we have to go through this winter, we've got this because we're strong. And we're working on healing before it happens. So that's going to be our way. That's the way we're going to find to become whole again. I love you all. I thank you all for being here. Please come back again. It doesn't always have to be quite so serious. We have some fun. I love you. Thank you. Bye-bye now.